What is the most creative way to approach a girl? From above. Drop a massive amount of limes at her feet. Then proceed to pick up those limes, but due to their overwhelming multitude you fail to keep holding them. After a few moments of this, look up to her and say, "Sorry, I'm bad at pick up limes." I mean, walking on your hands would be a pretty creative way, I think. At the end of a night out, my intoxicated mate approached a nice looking lady at the taxi rank and promised her a full English breakfast in the morning. Should she go home with him? I kid you not. He seemed hesitant at first, but then he started to name the items he'd be using. Cumberland sausages, none of that frozen acid. He'll even do some hash browns and a black pudding. I don't know if it was the hash browns or the black pudding that sealed the deal, but they did FCK that night. Edit, to those asking, yes, I believe he did come through with a breakfast in the morning. In a blue van with windows. Windowless white vans are so predictable. There was a guy in Carnival who approached a girl like this. Guy, do you believe in love at the first sight? Girl, no. Guy, turns around, what about second sight? Like a crab. As a girl, comment on jewelry. Nobody does that. Literally nobody, and we take a lot of time to find the perfect ones. Also to choose edit. Thanks for the award, kind stranger. Point a gun at her as a demonstration of how you protect yourself, and she'll immediately start crying of joy because women love men who can protect themselves. I'm a big fan of your tits. Hi. Holding a paintbrush and composing poetry. Cover the floor in butter, and when she slips, catch her and say, haha, I guess you really fell for me. I have a friend who once sat down at a bar table occupied by 3 women he didn't know and said, sorry I'm late. Each one thought one of the others must know him, and by the time they caught on, they were enjoying his company. Craft, rent, or buy a full suit of armor. Buy a horse. Then ride up to her and say, laddie, the next time you see her she will remember you. It's really that easy. Step 1. Earn an engineering degree. Step 2. Get a Dremel, some plates of steel, some electric ducted fans, foam cushioning, hinges, acrylic, some DC motors, lithium-ion batteries, etc. Step 3. Construct into a fully functional Iron Man armor. Step 4. Get drunk in the suit and crash into her with Black Sabbath playing at full volume. Edit. Step 1. As an engineering degree is pretty important for this. Walk up to her and say, hi, we are humans too. We are not that scary. Okay, I have looked through the comments, and although the responses are pretty funny, I'm assuming that Op wants a serious answer. So as a female, here you go. I'm also assuming that perhaps Op has a crush on a girl and wants to know how to approach her to ask her out. If that isn't the case, here is some general advice for anyone who does have a crush on a girl and wants to ask her out. I'm also going to assume that you are not friends, nor talk to this girl. So how do you get to the point of approaching a girl to ask her out? First, you gotta talk to her. It's going to seem really creepy if you ask her out right from the get-go. If she is a crush you have from afar, find some way to talk to her. It can be about general things, such as school, or work, or anything in that vein. Find out things that you two have in common. Become friends, or be at the level where you can talk to her without it being weird, so to speak. Develop your chemistry with her. This also serves as a checkpoint, so you can see if she is interested in talking to you. What's also worth mentioning is that you aren't going to see her face to face at every hour of every day. Have a good texting relationship with her, and this is done similarly to how you talked to her in the first place. Text her about school or work or something in that vein first, then about other things. This is another checkpoint to see if she is interested in talking to you. Are her responses dry or one-worded? For example, now you're at the point where you and her talk. How do you ask her out? I'd say to test the waters first and invite her out with a group of people. This works especially well if you have mutual friends. Is she interested? Did you have fun hanging out with her? You've decided once and for all that you're going to ask her out at this point. There are so many ways you can accomplish this, but you have to know a few key things first. Whatever you do, do not ask her out in front of other people. This is something I like to call a public offer or a public proposal, even though it's not really a proposal, but for lack of a better word. Why is this bad? Because it puts pressure on the other person to say yes, and you run the risk of embarrassing yourself. You want her to say yes to a date because you asked, not because she didn't want to embarrass you in front of others. Also, no large romantic gestures shown commonly in rom-coms and stuff. Those come off as simply creepy. For example, coming to her house at midnight and blasting a song out of a boombox. Small romantic gestures are fine though, but think of how you would feel if you were at the receiving end of said gesture. To gauge how creepy it might be, if you're shy, then ask her out over text. You can be as creative as you like with how you ask her out, and the benefits are that you don't have the extra pressure of doing it in person. You could send her a meme, or perhaps a well-written joke, a love letter, and so on. Don't ask her out in a group chat though. That's the online equivalent of a crowd. The cons of this method is that you won't be able to see her reaction. Also, you might not get an answer straight away. However, if she doesn't end up giving you a definitive answer like yes or no, that is, she leaves you on read, then drop her. Being left on read is a million times worse than being straight up rejected, and anyone who does that is actually the worst. Asking her out in person has the benefit of you being able to see her reaction. However nerve-wracking it may be, there is a small chance you wouldn't get a definitive answer though, but for the purposes of this comment I'll assume that the chance of not getting a definitive answer is practically zero. There are a multitude of ways to be creative with asking her out in person. You could tell her a joke or a pickup line. If she's got a sense of humor, pickup lines don't actually work unless they are jokes. For example, well, I hope I helped. Good luck. With a cartwheel. By viciously and without mercy whipping spare change at her while announcing you've won the lottery. Chicks dig men with money, or so I've been told. From the internet. I don't talk to girls, so now what I'm doing.